Oh, I concede.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another exciting episode of the Two Half Squads. I'm Jeff.
I'm Nerve.
And we have with us all the way from the other side of this wire, a special guest, Michael Koch from Germany.
Hey.
Welcome,
Hey,
Michael.
Hey, welcome. Yes, thank you to be
We're very
there.
glad to have you.
Yeah.
And this is the one and only podcast dedicated 100% to the greatest game in the world.
Right, ASL.
Advanced Squad Leader.
And
Yes.
do you think it's I'm being over precautious with the mask my mother-in-law made for me in my house, to wear it in my house?
So I don't know where you live, so probably you need to wear a mask, But yeah, probably a little bit over it.
All right, yeah, I think my family
okay.
family's mostly trustworthy. They're trying to be safe, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Wow, Dave, would you mind putting it back on? You're getting old. Not me.
I know.
Yeah. So, Michael, what time is it there? It's 8 o'clock or something in the evening?
It's 9. It's
9 o'clock.
Yeah. So we are 7 hours difference to Chicago time.
Is all of Germany in the same time zone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are not such a big country like the US. So,
yeah.
So it's from the north to the south. It's probably 1,000 kilometers. So you can do it in probably 10-12 hour drive to cross the country from north to south. It's not the same in the United States, I think.
Yeah. And have you ever been to the USA?
Yeah, several times.
Oh, good.
You had just
vacation and for SLOC.
Yeah, you had mentioned that Brett Hildebrand mispronounced your name in a very inappropriate way.
Yeah, you did, but it was funny, as I told you. I don't know if I can say it here now, but
you
can. Of course.
Yeah. He said Koch,
It's yeah.
Well, and with Klein Schmidt, a good German name, my principal once on the intercom said my name without the M.
Yes, okay.
And right on the intercom, luckily the kids were not in school, all the staff heard it, and so then he buzzed down to the room he knew I was in, personally, and then he said, "Sorry about that."
Yeah, right okay. Okay.
Well, at least he didn't call you Klein Koch.
Yes.
That would have been more embarrassing.
Who knows?
Yeah. So you've been to, Michael, you've been to ASLOC just one time, or have you been a couple of times?
5 times.
Wow, okay.
More than us.
Yeah, it was, the first time was in 2009. And it was only for 3 days. Then I was in the United States for vacation with my girlfriend. And she made the offer to me. We were driving around the East Coast. And she offered to me, okay, when there's SLOC, let's go there.
Wow.
Really? Wow. And you know, when you were there for the first time, everything is so huge, so many people. And you can't compare it with the other tournaments in the world. And so it was pretty clear for me to come back for the whole thing. And then I did in 2011, the first time for the whole week.
For the full week, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what year we Dave and I have only been there once. And when did we go, Dave? Do you remember what year that was?
No.
Must have been around there, 2012 maybe, something like that.
Yeah, probably close.
Yeah.
Of course, I went once or twice. My first time with Jim McDermott, that had to be in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was all like, I only had one other guy that played ASL around here. And so, yeah, we went there, played with different people. And I remember sitting and watching a game, I've said this before on the air, between Gary Fortenberry and another big name. I sat there watching. That's when I first realized it is like watching paint dry. Although I did see Fortenberry throw smoke on a kill stack from his tank. That was the first time. And I looked at that and I thought, man, that's brilliant. You can just smoke the guy and he's got a +4. So
Wow.
I obviously didn't have very good tactics, or maybe I was avoiding the smoke rules or something back then, or never thought of it. I don't know. But yeah, so you learn little things.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing for me. I like to say my first life in ASL. I was playing without smoke all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Always shoot, and no smoke, and yeah. And now in my second ASL life, of course, I use smoke.
Did you have a near-death ASL experience before you had your second life, or?
No, but I had to break off for several years because
Oh.
I had no opponent. My usual face-to-face opponent left the game, so I was there with all that stuff and had nobody to play. And after some years, I had to make the decision to stop collecting ASL and don't think about playing it again or looking for another players. Then I did that, and that was it opened my eyes, and everything started. It was one of the best decisions I made by the time.
We would certainly have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We recommend it for everybody.
yeah.
And when did you first start playing? Like wargaming, give us a little history. When did you start wargaming? And
Well, I think it's the same story for like the most of the people. It started always with pen and paper role-playing games in the 80s.
Mm.
So and with Dungeons and Dragons, and
Ah.
later Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and we played so much role-playing games, whatever. I don't know, Call of Cthulhu, and I don't know. And always when you were in the game shop, back in the corner, in the dark corner of the shop, there were those war games, with all that, with the covers with German soldiers or tanks, whatever. But by that time, it was not very popular in Germany to play war games or to sell them, because the problems with our history. And yeah, but when after some years we started to look over the fence, and one buddy of me bought a squad leader, and we played the first scenario, and I didn't like it.
Because
I was not hooked. I don't know. It was
Com-
because of course it was because the language barrier, the rules were very, the rules.
Yeah.
And so we played the first scenario. I'm pretty sure we did it wrong, and we skipped it for a while. And then I think it was 2 or 3 years later, another friend of mine came again with squad leader, and then it was a time you were more into detailed rules, understanding, and stuff like that, and we started playing. We were three buddies, and we started playing squad leader right from the box to Cross of Iron, Crescendo of Doom, GI Anvil of Victory. So, and I think it was in the beginning of the 90s. So we were aware that there was ASL, but we had no need to play to change over to ASL because we had squad leader. It was so a fantastic game, and we there was there was no need.
Yeah.
And then by the time one of us three stopped playing, so we were only two guys, and then, because I had too much money in my pocket and I was bored, I bought the ASL rulebook, and that was, yeah, a blast. It was so different to squad leader, and yeah, and then we started to play advanced squad leader. I think it was around 1991 or 92, and yes, by that time we played regular, but only I and my friend, and I always played the Axis, and he always played the Allies. So you see, it was very limited, our game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then, real life started. We had to go to work, join the army, stuff like that. And at some point, we stopped playing. And yeah, that is the thing I told you, that I was looking for another opponent. And yeah, that was then in the beginning of the 2001, when I met the other guys like Christian Koppmeier, and yeah.
And are those guys kind of local to you? They're close by?
Close by means an hour drive by car.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In
That's-
in the high time of my ISL playing, I had 5 face-to-face opponents, and the closest was probably 10 minutes by car. So I was quite lucky to have so many people to play with face-to-face.
Yeah, that is something, and that's and eventually, I guess. So yeah, I started with the advanced. I didn't play the basic regular squad leader, and then my friend just pushed me into it to go buy this thing. It's huge. It's the Cadillac of war games, and then he and I played, and then I managed to have like a different opponent that I would play a lot with, maybe 2 at a time, and then one would move away, or and then suddenly, I guess, Jeff, maybe the podcast started the ASL club here at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then I guess local people, yeah, I had an ad in the old paper issue of the General, I think, somewhere. I think I did. So some local people found me, and then the show just really kicked it up, where people started to drive half an hour away to come to here to meet Jeff and I, and get some in. And now there really is so many people to game with that I have 3 guys I'm rotating on Vassal until COVID is over, and that's new for us here. But don't have it's a blessing to have so many people within half an hour that we can game with, that Jeff and I have.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to have face-to-face opponents. You see, I never started really into Vassal, because I had so many people to play with face-to-face.
And that's why Jeff and I either.
Yeah.
Until this, stay-at-home pandemic.
Yeah.
I had sort of tried it a couple of times, but I got annoyed with it for some reason. So I would never continue with it. But now just being forced, is that's the way to play. And so Dave and I have been playing pretty regularly, and actually I enjoy it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you have no chance to play with other guys face to face, and that's the only way to do it, and it's a very good way. So that it's fantastic, of course. But ASL is for playing on the table with your opponent face to face, with all that chit chat going by, and of course you can do this online via Vassal, but so I was not in the need to do it by that time. Probably that will change one day, because people get fewer and fewer to play with for some reasons, life issues,
Yeah.
Today I have two opponents I can play with face to face. So, and that's not that much, but it's okay.
And where do you? So you got involved in ASL, and where were you finding the products? It just at that same store back in the corner, that same dark corner.
No, by that time it was more in the lightened area of the shop.
Oh.
Well, by that time war games were probably more popular in Germany, but it was of course in a special shop, in a games shop for role-playing stuff and games like ASL, COSIMs, whatever. So and that's the point. ASL. Maybe you want, or I think you want to ask how many people play ASL in Germany. I can say I don't know. It's hard to tell. I personally know, of course, some. If I had to say a number, it's really tough. Probably 30, 40 active players. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It is hard. Yeah.
But you also then do run a tournament yourself, or are you with the Grenadier?
Yeah, I run the tournament. I run the Grenadier. I took it over when Christian Koppmeier, the founder of Grenadier Tournament, passed away. So this was in 2014, and then I took over, and I run it since then. And he started it in 1998. So by that time there was another tournament in Germany. It was a Westwahl, but only for 2 years. And Grenadier now runs from 1998 until today. And now Chris and the guys with her started a new tournament in southern Germany. I think she told you about that.
Yeah, the conscript.
Yeah, the conscript, right? And by the way, exactly 1 week ago, I had to cancel Grenadier for this year.
I see that on the website.
Yeah, because of COVID, it's there are too many question marks regarding the situation, what it will be in December, and so I decided to cancel it.
Probably
That's
good to be
tough
safe.
Tough decision.
Is always next year, but
yeah, I hope so.
And what is the attendance usually like for the Grenadier tournament? How many?
Usually there are 30 people.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think it's 30, probably 35. 1 year it was a highlight. We had probably over 40 players, but then we are on the limit for the location, with beds, because we have everything in the location. It's a hostel, and we have the whole hostel for us. And so you have limited bed capacity and playing tables.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 30 players is a good number. It's a good number.
What do you like best about running the tournament?
Well, that's a good question.
Is it just all? I was gonna say, what do you like least?
It's a good question. I like it. Seeing all the people playing and seeing them satisfied that they are playing the game, they are happy to play, all that stuff. The cheating, whatever. People are excited over their critical hits and stuff like that, and seeing that running smooth is really, really nice. So, by the way, I don't play in the tournament because organizing it and it's take my full attention, but that's okay. I play friendly games, and that's okay.
Yeah,
it's nice to hear you say that, because that's the way I feel when I was having my Castle Club in this crowded little basement. We might only have 4 players, maybe 10 at the most, 5 tables crammed around this little basement. I guess show. I guess we got.
He pulled the plug, showing us his little basement. He would sometimes get 10 people. Oh, there you go. You kind of broke up there, Dave, for a minute. We lost you.
I'm still there though.
You're there. You're back now.
Okay. It does say poor connection. I can take off my Wi-Fi. I got the cord in. Should I try and take it off or just keep going?
I think you're okay now. It's just when you were moving the computer around.
Yeah, maybe the cord. But yeah, so it can be tight, but enjoy just having 2 other games going, and you look across and hearing them with the critical hits. Exactly. That's what makes it so exciting. It's not a boring game at all. My problem with some of my my Ancients games with the miniature armies. I love the miniature armies. I love painting them and putting the terrain up. But sometimes those games don't, you push and push until someone starts to break and then roll.
Oh, we lost him again.
There's none of this broken off there.
Okay, Dave, you got to fix your connection. See what you can do there.
Yeah.
So, Michael, you get. I can only imagine that people come from a lot of people come from other countries to attend the tournament. You probably get people from where? Italy and France?
Oh, well, we have.
Italy's probably a long drive.
It's probably easier to say which countries were not at Grenadier. So you have, of course, all the neighboring countries. So the French guys are always there with many people. The guys from Netherlands, there are a lot of players from the Netherlands always at Grenadier. And we have from Italy, we have from Sweden, we have from Great Britain, we have from, call it a name, United States. We have Ray Voloshin, you probably know him.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's there every year. So, from one year there was a guy from Israel, I think. And it's a big audience coming to Grenadier.
Yeah.
But I have to be fair. It's most of the time the same people coming there.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah, you develop friendships.
Yes, you do.
Sitting across the table from somebody for 6 or 7 hours will do that.
Of course.
Yeah,
that's true.
Or enemies, like Jeff and I when we play, we become enemies temporarily, and then
that can happen from time to time. That can happen. You can have bad stuff starting playing ASL, especially when you played competitive.
Yes.
I saw people being too competitive, and so by that some years ago I decided for myself not to play any more competitive, just only for fun.
Yeah. We had, Dave, we did an interview one time with somebody from Europe. I can't remember who it was, and they had some generalizations, things they noticed about people from different countries about way they played and how. Remember that? Somebody was saying how this certain nationality was more serious, and Michael, do you think that there are some that are just more serious in general, like? And some that are less so. Are the Italians less intense about playing?
No, I think it's pretty on the individual players. So you have I have met really competitive players from. Yeah, I don't want to put some people here into focus.
Category.
I was hoping to put you on the spot, but no.
And I think
the Scandinavian players are really good players, are really strong players, really good players. They're very, very focused. They're really concentrated when they play, and but also you have a lot of fun with them. So it's hard to say those country is very competitive, those country is not. So it depends on the single player, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think too, Jeff, someone was referencing that like the Australians just play faster. Was that it too?
That may have been, yeah.
The Americans just play too slow.
It's the same they say in Europe about the Americans. That the Americans play
too fast.
It's funny. It's the same they say here. Yes, Americans are always so fast and bam, bam, bam. They move their squads and bam, tank. No. Maybe there are some players doing that, but not all of them.
Yeah, some are tediously slow.
Yeah, of course.
So you had mentioned before that there was there were some years there where you really couldn't find World War II games that much. Is that right? Or people wouldn't play them because of the history?
Yeah, I think 20 years ago. 20, 30 years ago, it was more problematic to play games with a World War as a story, and of some you have to be careful in Germany because some stuff is not allowed. It's by law. So because of the symbols that they use in the game, like swastikas and SS runes, stuff like that, it's not allowed in Germany. In combination with toys, and board games are toys. So and it's not very popular in Germany.
Yeah,
So,
I think in the United States, and Jeff, I think you might agree, there was the question about Vietnam, because then for my
for a long time.
generation, the younger people was like, well, having a game about World War I is okay, or II, or some ancient thing, but you shouldn't have a game about Vietnam.
Yeah, that's
Because
true. I do remember
it's,
that.
it's too fresh for a lot of people. And my uncle was killed, and my brother's lost his leg, and so it is a fascinating thing. And then of course there are people who just won't game with violent like war, and for religious reasons or just pacifist reasons, and I can respect that. But to me, it's always, again, like with D&D, remember the demon? I don't know if in Germany you had the religious people and I was a pastor's kid, so they were like,
okay.
Dave, is that okay to play that game? And we play the good guys killing the bad guys. And so for me, it's make believe, and it's I don't, I try to see it as respecting history in a way. And I know I don't certainly ever glorify war, and I'm not, I'm pretty much a pacifist. I would like the world to solve problems without it, but I am fascinated.
I think most of the people playing ASL or war games in general, probably with World War II as a background, are interested in history. So or interested in military stuff in for every country taking part in the World War, and I that's okay. ASL as a game is it's only a game. It's fiction, It's Hollywood. So you have all that stuff that were used in the World War, but in a scale it would never happen then by that time. So I don't know. I see it that way. So and I'm very interested in military history. I'm very interested in World War II stuff. Well, I was in the army. I'm still in the Army Reserve, so I have no problem with that. And but it's the same, like you say. I don't glorify anything when playing ASL or thinking about recreating the history or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. It's and again, part of the real fun, as we said, was the way the game's designed with those extremes, I think, of breaking weapons and critical hits, and you can change the symbols on the counters, and probably it would still, to aliens, and it would still be a pretty fun system, to play. So, but yeah, I do love the history. It's and it's a good teaching tool too, even though it's fictional, because you're learning. You're learning geomorphic boards, but there's historical games also, and so on. So
yeah.
And so, do you have a preference of games that you do? Do you have all the MMP stuff? Do you have the Le Franc-Tireur stuff, or do you have ones you like best? Or
so I only play ASL. I don't play any other games, any other war games. So because I think ASL is a game that needs your full attention.
it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Yeah.
And I like the scale. The squad level. That's what ASL is about. And there's no other game. I don't know any other game coming close to it. And I'm not interested in games where you move battalions or regiments or whatever. I don't have any. I don't like it. It's not my cup of tea.
I noticed you used the word Hollywood when you referred to ASL.
Yeah.
I think you're right. It tells more of a story of like individual people on the
Yes, right.
battlefield. The guy that picks up the Panzerfaust that was dropped,
Sure,
well, or
it's a hero. You create a
Shrek.
hero, and the hero
Yeah.
grabs the Panzerschreck,
Yeah.
and he kills the tank in the last turn,
Yeah.
and bam, change the game. And yeah, it would never happen in reality, but you know, it's a game. It's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But to your question, yeah, I own the stuff. I own a lot of stuff. But by the way, I stopped to buy. Not the core products. So back in the days, really everything where ASL was printed on, I bought it. And behind me is a shelf. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
It's
some of it.
packed with ASL stuff, whatever. And but today I only buy MMP products and LFT and whatever third party when it's good. But you know what I by now have not picked up was the new Croix de Guerre.
Oh yeah,
right.
I'm looking at mine right over there. We haven't opened it yet on the show yet, so we have to
because I have the French, and I don't need no more counters anymore, and I don't. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
I have bought the new Yanks. I bought the new. Japanese Rising Sun, and
Yeah.
it's still packed. I don't have the intention to do any more counters. I'm over it.
I can understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went from not having enough to kind of having too much. To
Right.
be honest, yeah. I still have read the new Barricades with the two games combined. It's
Right.
sitting in
Yeah.
there, and I haven't got to the Hungarian thing yet. Festum Budapest.
That's in
And here
Budapest.
sits, and it's like, yeah, but you know, maybe someday I'll get to all of them.
Yeah, of course. Someday we will have enough time to play everything. Not really.
Probably not. Probably not.
No, I'm almost 60, so I don't.
Yeah, I think you have 20 or 30 years to go.
I'm hoping at least 20.
If you don't buy anymore, just
Yeah.
don't buy anymore. Dave.
Well, right, that's right.
Yeah.
But by the way, it's great that you can buy so much stuff.
Yes.
I remember the times in the 90s, there was nothing to buy.
Yeah.
So there was the time when Avalon Hill stopped with ASL and MMP rise up, and I think the only stuff they released was Action Pack 2, 1 and 2, and then there was a big break.
Yeah,
And there probably was by that time Critical Hit was the guys to go with, and but that has changed today. Absolutely, it's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I do remember, I think I told the story once on the show, Jeff, but if you'll humor me to repeat it, because some people may never go back and listen to those episodes, but I was playing, I had a friend that worked at the hobby shop. This is back the year that, and we were playing D&D, and I had a druid that had up a wall of fire. Sorry, ASLers, you'll have to listen to this stuff, but had his wall of fire up holding off a bunch of undead or something. And right then, my friend says, "Oh, Dave, did you hear Avalon Hill's out of business?" And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, and they released that last game, but they only made a few copies, and they're gone." And I was like, "What?" Because I was just like, I didn't get the last product of ASL, and I just said, I dropped my wall of flame and I let all the undead kill me. I was that upset. And then he said, "Well, call Charlie Prosek." Some of our listeners knew Charlie. He ran the hobby shop over here in Wheaton. Great guy. He passed away too. And he said, "Call Charlie. Sometimes he keeps an extra copy or two sealed. Right. And he'll just keep them like collectors or for people like you." And so I called over there, "Charlie, please. I heard this last game came out." He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "I didn't get one." And he goes, "Yeah, they sold out." And I'm like, "Oh, I heard a rumor that maybe you could find me a copy." I said, "You know how much I am into this game." And he's like, "Yeah, come on over, I'll give you my last one.
Oh.
So
yeah.
like, what was that game? Doom Battalions or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay.
so.
Yeah. So I got this last copy of Doom, and at that time you thought this was it for life, right?
Yeah, it was the time before the internet, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
you have to go to a shop, and
Yeah.
and you were a lucky guy. You was a lucky guy when you had a shop in your area. So in Germany it was not that easy to find a shop selling that stuff of games. So yeah, and today it's pretty easy. You know, you order it online, and it's there on next few days.
Yep.
And there's so much. There is so
Yeah.
much stuff out now. I won't say too much, but
And
there's
no, not
plenty.
good stuff.
Good
It's
stuff.
really good stuff, and I really like to see that from time to time new guys rise up and produce stuff for ASL, like the Italian guys now.
Yes.
Yes.
Really nice, and yeah, I like it. And Front Tireur is fantastic. Xavier is a great guy, and all the guys around him with Front Tireur, they're doing a good job. Really nice.
Yeah, we evolved their stuff. A lot of their things. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, one of our favorites, Jeff. Do you have the bell handy? Is Bounding Fire Productions. One of our sponsors. We realize we're not getting our ads in because now we're doing the video.
Yeah.
Right.
So we need to talk a little bit about Bounding Fire Productions, don't we, Jeff?
Yes, we do. Please.
Currently,
Yes.
I am playing through Objective Schmidt. I keep calling it Operation Schmidt with a friend on online, since he lives down the street, but we're just staying separate for a little while more. And we're playing through all of the Bounding Fire production scenarios in order. And he is has a special scoring system. So if you score 75% casualties, you gain extra points.
Okay.
And so it's not really a campaign, but we're doing that with all the Bounding Fire Objective Schmidt games. Because Schmidt, it's a good name. It should have been called Objective Klein-Schmidt.
It should have.
By the way, you know that that Schmidt, the town Schmidt, is probably 20 kilometers away from where Grenadier is held.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grenadier, the town of Hergarten, is on the boundary of the Hürtgen forest. And yeah, when you come to Grenadier, you can do a good battlefield tour, and for the Hürtgen forest, and it's probably 2 hours or 3 hours drive to the Ardennes. You can go to La Glace, whatever the places from Kampfgruppe Piper. So it's everything close by.
Yeah, Jeff and I, we keep talking about get our trip to Europe going, but better do it sooner than later. And we are waiting for a package right now, so all ASL stuff from Ritterkrieg. Waiting for Jeff to ding the bell. Ritterkrieg, so you can order all your ASL products from Derek Ritter. Great guy. He helps to keep us with stuff to review on what's in the box, and he has free shipping, but we ask that you don't order a lot of small little things. You break the guy's bank, right? You want to order in bulk from ritterkrieg.com.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I've met him several times at SLOC.
Yes, he gets to. We met him too. I forget. No, we didn't. I'm sorry.
No, we didn't.
He
I don't think he
contacted us. I think, yeah.
We like to stay aloof. We don't want to get.
Well, like Michael, the competitive gaming is too much for me, I think, in a long weekend. But I enjoyed when we recorded, and maybe someday we record from Grenadier.
All right.
When we do all the interviews, you may have heard on our show of the gamers at the tournaments, some of the tournaments, Chicago and ASLOC. It'd be great to get there and do some interviews there of the local guys. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's great.
So when you hold the tournament there, I mean, it's so different for you because you're in the middle of the geography of the war.
Right.
Do people do sightseeing tours and stuff to see? And are there World War II things to see around that area?
Yes, from time to time, people are doing that. you know, they before they come to Grenadier, they probably take a day to go to some places to do a battlefield tour. One, I don't remember which year we did organized a battlefield tour for all participants of Grenadier for the Hürtgen Forest, but we were stopped by the bad weather, so it was snow in effect.
Is
And
your tournaments in December, right? Or always?
normally in November. Normally in November. And it started to snow, and our guide don't want to go with us into the countryside, and yeah, so we only visit the museum and some bunkers, and yeah. But yeah, as you said, we are right in the middle of the war, and right in when I go out of my house, there you are on the battlefields. You know, when the Allies crossed the River Rhine, it was right in front our house. So yeah. So and
Amazing.
today you see all that marks still there, and yeah.
Yeah, gotta get there.
It seems like they keep discovering new stuff. There's
Like-
somebody on YouTube. I wish I could remember who it was who is always out looking for new sites that are uncovered, a bunker somewhere or a battlefield somewhere and he'll take these little tours. I'll have to get the guy's name, but it seems like there's always something new. And that's got to make a real difference. Does that make do you have an affinity, an affection, or a preference for squad leaders encounters that happen in Germany, or are you?
Do you play Pacific or everything, or?
Well, I love Pacific. I really love Pacific, but I also like the ETO stuff, of course. As most of the ASLers, I think I don't play that much desert scenarios.
Yeah.
So I've played desert scenarios, but yeah, there's so much stuff around, good stuff, so that you can easily forget about the desert. And I think the rules for desert are not that easy or clear, so people more are going to play more the PTO stuff or ETO stuff. My preference, I like late war scenarios. I think I'm in the heavy metal corner, you know, all that big tanks and late war stuff, and yeah, East Front is always nice, but yeah, but I play all stuff, but PTO is really one of my favorites. I love it.
Yeah, Jeff and I are playing through the Operation Watchtower stuff on our.
Okay. Wow.
Going back to those, we had done some years and years and years ago, and then switched over to other stuff, and then on Vassal, I'm like, hey, let's just jump back in and try and play out the next 10 of these we never got to.
It's a lot of night scenarios in the jungle, right?
Yeah.
About maybe only three or four in there.
Two or three. I don't know.
Yeah, 3 or 4 maybe. Yeah. Oh, and we did them. Yeah, I don't. We put it on our Twitter feed. I keep that up now better than we used to.
Okay.
So you can track. Everyone, go to our Twitter feed. Actually, the numbers. My daughter about 6 months ago looked at it over my shoulder and said, "Dad, you have 600 people on Twitter." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't care that much. We're just announcing the show." And then with Vassal, I was posting games, but we've played so often now because we're playing in small chunks spread out during the week, and so I'll more likely post a photo from the games. And I think more people are checking in now. You know,
you will change your mind when you have 6 million followers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a drawback to that somewhere, isn't there?
I'm sure there is.
Most everyone's really nice, you know. ASLers are mostly nice people.
That's true.
Like to see the pictures and hear some of the stories and stuff. So
right.
Yeah, but what's good? You play lots of different variations of stuff in ASL, and in your tournament you have the mini tournament also, like they do.
Right. I started with the mini tournament normally Grenadier back in the days was from Thursday to Sunday. People coming into the building, in the house, and start to play late in the evening for friendly gaming, and then starting with the main tournament on Friday morning. And every time people ask, "Come on, let's do a day more. Let's start on Wednesday, so we have a day more to play ASL." And yeah, so we changed. We made a day more to play then, and I started to do the mini tournaments on Thursday. So it's I think the people like it. So some people play in the minis, some people are doing only friendly gaming. So it's a good mix.
Okay, yeah. If I do another tournament, I would do the mini and then hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 2-round mini only, not like at S-Log a 3-round mini. So you play when you lose, you are out. So it's every mini is with 4 players, and you play 2 scenarios, and yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
And then do you select the list of scenarios, or do people just choose whatever they want to play?
No, it's a list. I select the scenarios, and that's probably the difficult job for organizing a tournament.
Yeah, Dave Goldman has said that about the ASL Open. So how do you go about picking them? Do you look at the Roar record or talk to friends, or?
Raw is definitely a way for orientation, but of course you have to play them by yourself to get a feeling for the scenarios. And I do it with some of the guys I play with, and yeah, most of the time it works.
Yeah, yeah, nothing's perfect, I guess, but
Yeah, from time to time there's a scenario you afterwards you say it's probably not that balanced. It was not that balanced, but yeah, ASL is a game where everything can happen, and yeah,
yeah, games can turn around real quick, like Jeff, and you're pretty sure you're losing, and then Jeff went on a tear with his heavy machine gun, took out my guys. Easily should have had 12 points off the board in this Japanese scenario, right?
Yeah.
Jeff ate him up, and then that rate of fire on that 37 millimeter gun, right? Jeff just
Oh, that was crazy.
took out all my little Stuart tanks,
Yeah.
and especially in the smaller games, you get a little dicey. They
yeah,
say,
of
but
course.
yeah,
In small scenarios are always every die roll counts. Every mistake is probably the decisive one. So yeah.
Do you have to decide games ever at the tournament to keep it moving on time, or?
Well, that's from time to time you have some issues because people, when playing in tournaments, are a bit slow. Of course, it's okay when people play competitive, they want to win, of course, but that said, taking probably 6-7 hours for a 5-turn scenario is maybe too much.
Yeah.
And then I have to give them some. Yeah, come on, guys, move on.
Yeah.
So, but I think it works. It's most of the time it works, and people are easy about it. So when they're not finished by that time, mostly they are finding a solution by themselves. So I have no to make a decision as a referee or whatever.
And then what about you? When you play personally, do you like to play? Do you just play scenarios, or do you get into the campaign games?
Oh, I like campaign games. The problem about campaign games is what? Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but the last one I played was from Hatten in Flames. We played the campaign
Oh,
game, and it was a blast. It was fantastic. Hatten in Flames is such a good historical. It is really, really nice, really good designed, and I wish there were more of that stuff in that size because it's playable from
Yeah.
the time scale, from playing time scale. The same is probably like Bridge at Cheneux from Campo Piper. It's 4 campaign days, like Bled White for Red Barricades. So stuff like that. I think the largest or the longest campaign I've played was the big one from Red Barricades, and we played it for 7 campaign game dates, and it took us, I think, half a year, 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then okay, it was by that time there was a decision. I won it by that time as the Germans, but we couldn't imagine going it. I don't know how many dates it has. The big campaign in Red Barricades, so playing it to the end. So time is an issue.
Yeah,
Playing campaign.
I guess I kind of forget that I actually did a campaign or wait, I think boy, how can I forget this?
Well, you said you're getting to be. You're almost 60. It
Well-
could be the first sign, Dave.
Matt Ramsey, way long ago, he and Camp Group Piper, I think he took me through a very, very small one. Maybe that's the one you're referring to. And then I clearly remember playing these large games. So like the last bid was a big deal for us. And then Jeff and I did the big one from the bridge, the Arnhem.
Yeah,
thing.
so far.
So yeah, like 4 players, and we did. So I like those, but they took months also, just meeting once a week or every other week, to get 4 people together. But a lot of fun. And then I think Jeff, maybe it's time we try the campaign game. We can't avoid them our whole life. So you would recommend, Michael, the Hatten and Flames one?
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic.
Jeff, what do you think? We'll get you on the air committing.
That sounds great to me.
Probably
I would love to do that. I would love to do that one.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. By the rules, it's not so rule heavy. It's the map is nicely done. Forces on both sides, you can handle them. It's not overloaded with stuff, whatever, and it plays very smooth. And the scenarios also, I've played all but one, I think, and all of them were great scenarios.
And that's a late war.
Yeah, it's late war. It's 1945.
45, yeah.
45.
January, February, maybe 45.
Yeah, I think it was in the campaign besides the Ardennes offensive. It was I forgot the name, how it was called. Damn. Yeah, it was in France in 1945.
Right. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
I will commit to that right now.
Okay. Well, we looked at all the components and what's in the box, but I still have it in the box now in the bedroom over there. So it's time to break it out, put it in my little, the way I sort my stuff out here, counters and maps and whatever, and get the scenarios all in my little plastic. I'm still into these plastic
really?
things, and then I can flip through all my big thick binders and
I stopped that several years ago
because there's so many. I had to take out all the old route reports and the old in contacts. I don't know if you remember those. I had to take all those out, and they're just in paper now, stacked. But Jeff's got the binder.
We had a listener who was getting out of ASL, wasn't that it, Dave? And so he kind of donated. This was years ago.
Yeah, he came. He met us for dinner, and
oh my God.
And brought his stuff for the Paso Club to use as a second set of counters, and we did use them, for many years. So forgetting his name, which is horrible.
Yeah,
great guy. So yeah, that's what I like to store them that way still. But
I started to scan all my scenarios several years ago to have them as a PDF on my devices, and it's you print them, and so I know it's nice to go all through through that paper scenarios, and for every time you look at the same scenarios for 1,000 times, and I know. But I had to make a decision, and I stopped to do that like you guys.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And where are you right now? Are you in your gaming room? Do you have a designated space in your house for everything?
Yeah, we have a large table we can play on, so we normally use it for dinner and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I use it also for gaming. Yeah, but I have not no man cave like you guys have.
Oh,
Yeah,
Uh,
mine. I complain mine is too small.
yeah, of course.
I do the miniature games, and Jeff's been here once for like what I had like 10, 12 guys around a table, 6 to a side.
I had to bring my own oxygen.
Moving their little cowboys, and you have to kind of scoot behind somebody because I got all this gaming stuff, and I guess now that we have video, Jeff, some show when we don't have a guest, I'll have to take a tour of my room.
A tour would be great. Yeah.
Tour, yeah.
But Dave, when we play Hatten in Flames, that campaign game, we're going to have to, you're going to have to move, then you're going to have to leave the room. And we'll have to wipe everything down. Then I can come in and move.
Yeah,
tedious.
I don't think I want to do that on Vassal, or should we?
We could start it maybe on Vassal, but I think it's so much more beautiful when you lay that map out.
Yeah, Michael is groaning on the.
Yeah.
No, it's my opinion, because I think I cannot imagine how people can play a campaign game on Vassal.
It's a lot of scrolling around on the board.
Right.
You can't see the whole picture. Yeah. Right. And then Jeff, we could leave it. Well, we could leave it maybe set up at your house.
Yeah, we could.
You have a bigger basement.
Yeah.
And less social groups that come over to your house, because you're not as likable as I am.
No. I usually don't let people in the basement, just you. Well, I think we're just about out of time here.
Yeah, we got an hour
for our
almost.
show, Michael.
Wow.
Yeah,
we really appreciate you joining us. And
yes,
great.
I'm really glad that we could do this.
And, do you listen to our show?
From time to time, yeah.
Okay, great. That's super. We appreciate that.
And you guys are doing a really great job.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic, And now you're on YouTube. And
yes.
Yeah. Finally.
One thing I really like about the show is the people that we interview. And so we've interviewed obviously some like John Hill and, really great Ian Daglish. And now we've got Michael Koch.
Michael
Koch.
Koch. Correct. Right.
Koch.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
So thank you very much again. And do you have any parting comments you want to make? Say hello to somebody from the other side of the gaming table that you haven't seen lately.
I know a lot of guys from the United States. I've met when I was at SLOC, and I would call them, a lot of them, friends. But in general, I would say in the times now, stay strong, guys. And because I read the news about the United States and what's going on over there, and that's not good. That's not nice.
It's the Russians, I swear to you.
Yeah, probably the Russians.
They are propagandizing our country, and they are doing a really good job of dividing us.
Maybe.
Good job, Russians.
There goes our Russian listener base.
Sorry, Russian listener. Sorry.
No, it was really great to be with you guys, and hopefully my plans were to go to SLOC this year, but of course not, and I don't know if it will happen. It's right. I've read on the forum that Brett is thinking about to cancel it also.
Yeah,
right?
I'm guessing that will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully next year.
Yes. And hopefully Dave and I will either get there or get to Europe and do the things we wanted to do, and we'd look forward to meeting you.
Feel invited. You are welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
We will.
If you come over, drop me a line. No problem. You're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
We'll sleep right on that table.
Sure.
All right.
And you can drink good beer if you like.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
We will.
I'm drinking my Miller High Life
Oh,
today.
bitter. Okay.
It's only 3 in the afternoon. I'm sticking to my soda pop until later.
All right. Thanks again, Michael. Have a great
All right.
evening.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. All right,
Oh, remember,
bye.
wait, we got to do our sign off. Remember to roll low,
And rally well.
but
Well,
now
all right.
you're
When
playing
you're playing
us.
us. All right.
Okay.
The way we do
Bye.
it.
See you.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Auf
everybody.
Wiedersehen. Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.